children, welcome to today's science lesson. You are welcome to class 1 and I will be taking you through science lesson henceforth. Today we will be looking at diversity of matter, and under diversity of matter we'll be looking at living and non-living things. So now let's look at our objectives. So by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to observe and describe different kinds of things in the environment. You should also be able to define living and non-living things. And also, you should be able to sort or group things in the environment into living things and non-living things according to what? The definition given. So now, let's move on. So my lovely children, in order to understand this lesson, we have to look at our keywords. Yes, let's go through our keywords. So our keywords for today's lesson are environment, living things, non-living things. Now let's go through the explanation. So when we say environment, it means the surrounding or conditions which a person, animal or plant lives. It means the surroundings or the conditions which a person, animal or plant lives. Now let's look at living things. The term living things refers to things that are alive and have what? Life in them. Now non-living things means things that do not have what? Life. They do not possess life at all. And they do not have lifespan. So you can see that living thing is the opposite of what? Non-living thing. Good. In nursery 3 or KG2, you learned about the things in the environment. So our lesson is going to be short and it's going to be very interesting because I know my children know that already. Now let's look at some of the things in the environment. After that, we will look at the definition for living things and non-living things. Okay, on your screen, you can find things in your environment. Yes, the first one is snake, very scary. The second one is teddy, a beautiful one. And the next one is bouquet of flowers. That is mixed up, different kinds of flowers. The next one is balls. Balls we used to play. Then the next one is what? Doll. A beautiful doll. We have a fish over there. The next one we have a giant tree. The next one we have a beautiful chair. The next one we have a shoe. Next one is an earring. Then you can see a lot of people there. So people, we have zebra. Good. So these are some of the things you can find around. So let's quickly go through our definition for living and non-living things. In our keywords, we said living things is a thing that refers to things that are what? Alive, or they have life in them. They possess life. And non-living things, on the other hand, do not have life in them. They do not possess life or have lifespan. So with our things in the environment, now we are going to group them. We are going to sort them, whether they are what? Living things or non-living things. Yes, That is what we are going to do today. But let's go through the definition again. Living things refers to things that have life in them, or things that are alive. Non-living things, on the other hand, do not have life in them, or they do not have lifespan. So that is the opposite of what? Living things. Good. Now let's move on. Okay, since you know the definition for living and non-living things, now let's group them in their respective places. Okay, the first example was what? A snake. A snake. Do snakes have life in them? Do they have life in them? Yes. So that will be a living thing. Let's move on to the next one. Teddy bear. Do teddy bear have life in them? No. So we are going to group that under non-living thing. Now, bouquet of flowers. Bouquet of flowers. I said collection of flowers put together. Okay, so bouquet of flowers. Where are we going to group that? Do they have life in them? No. Good. So now I want to tell you something. If the thing is edible and it's on the tree, it is a living thing. Immediately you plug it, it is what? Non-living thing. Now let's move on to balls. Now let's move on to balls. The balls you play with. The boys in my class. The balls that you play with. Do they have life in them? No, they do not have life in them. So they will be under where? Non-living things. What about the doll? The doll that the girls play with. Do they have life in them? No, they do not have life in them. So they will be under what? Non-living thing. What about the fish? The fish on your screen is what? In the sea. So it has what? Life in it. It is moving around. Yes. So it is what? A living thing. What about the tree? The huge green tree. Okay. So the green huge tree. That is what? Are you confused? It is a living thing. It has life. That is why it can bear fruits. Good. What about the chair? The chair? Yes. You are correct. Non-living thing. Very good. The next one is the shoes. Or the shoe. Do they have life in them? Can they move on their own? No, they can't. So that is non-living thing. And the next one is the earring or the earrings. Do they have life in them? They do not have lifespan. You don't know when they will die. So they are what? Non-living things. So what about people? Do they have life in them? Yes. Yes, they have life in them. So you will sort that or you will group that under living things. Look at the black and white animal on your screen. That is what? A zebra. A zebra. Do they have life in them? They do. They are living things. Good. My children are very good. Now, do you know what you will do? you will go around the community and look at the living things and non-living things. Then you are going to group them. When we come on Zoom, you will tell me whatever you learned. Are you okay? Now, let's quickly go through what we did. Today, we talked about the things. So, today, we talked about the things in the environment. We listed a lot of things in the environment. And we also looked at the definition for living things and non-living things. And we said living things have life in them. Non-living things do not have life in them. Okay, then we tried to sort out things in the environment according to their respective places. So we had a table with living things and non-living things, and under it we gave some examples of living things and non-living things based on our definition for living and non-living things. Okay children, I hope you had a wonderful lesson with me. Please take your studies seriously and always make sure you wash your hand with soap and under running water. Be good girls and boys. Till I come your way, it's bye-bye.